You sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. Best soccer show, backheel.com. Jason Davis and Jared DuBois. Live Monday night. Ready to go.
Well, one of us was ready.
Yeah, well, we're a little late tonight. That's okay. Things happen. It's a crazy time, the DuBois household. There are children and there's children and poop everywhere.
Actually, that's more correct than I would like to admit.
All right, good. Just to let's acknowledge the fact that I'm wearing my LA Riot jersey, right?
Let's acknowledge the fact that I'm jealous because I thought about doing the same and I didn't. But you know what? It breathes worse than a person with emphysema.
I was telling Trevor. I mean, I don't think I feel bad because the show's dead. I know those guys are probably working. They all have new jobs, working on other shows, maybe even on El Rey. It's a terrible shirt. It's a
fantastic, terrible shirt.
It's a fantastically terrible shirt. Meaning, I could never wear this in public. I would get mocked.
I would wear that. I was already thinking if the MLS Cup hits in LA again this year, I am wearing that to like one of the media days.
Man, that would be awesome. Now look, here's the interesting thing. I had this jersey laying on a chair in my studio. It'd been here for a couple weeks. I hadn't worn it. I kept forgetting to put it on, just as, you know, on the Best Soccer Show, just as a reference for our dear departed Matador, which is no more.
R.I.P.
The only show that was ever wise enough to put us on their airways. Okay, just our voices, but still. So it was sitting here, and I hadn't put it on. And tonight, I get to the studio, and I go, "Oh, look, there's my Riot jersey." And I was wearing my Baller Blazer shirt. So I was happy with my choice of wardrobe for the evening. But I said, "Okay, let's grab it. I'll put it in the background, maybe something." And then I sit down at my computer, and I had no idea that this story was going to break, if you want to call it that. Kevin Baxter, noted soccer writer at the LA Times, has a story up about LAFC. And that's it, by the way. That's the name. They've decided. It's LAFC.
That's what it should be.
You think? Are you killing?
Yeah, I'm fine with the LAFC.
Okay.
It's simple. It's short, 4 letters, and it's easily branded.
Okay. All right.
Someone seems to think you have talent. But unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. Stars.
It's not the name I necessarily have a problem with. You're right. It's what you can get away with football club more in LA than almost anywhere else in this country based on language in Southern California. Okay,
football club.
Football. Now, I don't think they're going with FUTBOL. I think they're probably going with football. But either way, whatever. The issue is how they're going about their business right now. Like how they're going about building themselves up to be an actual living, breathing soccer team. Jared. It's kind of bad. It's actually really bad. And it's bothering me. Here's a quote. I'm going to read from Kevin Baxter.
Okay, we realize that this is LA. They do things interestingly out here.
Okay, but that's the thing. It's still sports. It's still trying to connect with a fan base. It's still trying to get people to buy into supporting a club. It's supposed to not mean, look, franchise club, whatever. It's still trying to get people to buy in to giving themselves over the way that we give ourselves over to our sports teams. This is not a hip new club that's opening up in a couple of months that we're trying to build.
It's not. You realize that's how it's going. How it's going to be sold here.
When I say club, I mean the other kind of club. Where you go,
I know, and I'm telling you, that's how it's going to be sold here.
I know, and
why is this any different? We make celebrities out of chefs that own restaurants. I mean, you don't think we're going to celebritize this in some way and try to make it the trendy thing to do here?
You and Andres Galan, you think this is the way to go? You think this is the right approach?
Well, I don't know what this is because I didn't read Kevin Baxter's article. Okay.
Our opportunity in LA is how do we tell the story differently? We're going to be big into music, art, and fashion, the design aesthetic. We're going to be a great outlet for creativity. It's one of our club pillars. I mean,
I don't have no problem with that. Is it douchey? Yes, but LA is douchey. How's that any different than how Umbro goes after how they do things?
Okay, but Umbro is a brand selling a product that you could wear.
How is LAFC not a brand selling a product that you wear?
Umbro's dead, so there's that too. But I see what you're saying. Okay, well, that's just showing you.
There's no way LA was not going to do this douchey. They should just have a fedora on top of their shield.
A fedora on top of their shield. Oh man, it's just look. Okay, I'm going to tell you, and look, it only matters, I guess, how the people of LA buy in or don't buy in. I mean, it only matters how they take all of this stuff. It doesn't matter what I think because I live in DC. I'm not supporting LAFC from way out here. And even if I was going to, my money's not going directly to the club in any way, except if I buy a jersey. And maybe their jerseys are going to look great. They're definitely here's another thing though. Okay. And douchey presentation is one thing. Flat out trying to manipulate your fan base or your potential fan base is a different thing. And I know this isn't a big deal, but our boy Pablo Maurer, because LAFC if you follow them on Twitter, they've been tweeting out these weird double exposure pictures, like pictures of people's faces with like people playing soccer inside their heads. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
All right, and
which if that's their level of design aesthetic, I do think they have issues.
Oh yeah, that's a problem right there. Then they present this as help us pick our team colors, retweet and favorite these pictures to tell us if you want us to be gold or black or white or red or blue. Mm-hmm. Totally bullshit. Sorry, total crap. They've already picked their colors. They're going to be red, black, silver, and gold, apparently. As
maybe they're having the fans pick their third kit color or something.
Is that how that works?
I don't know if that's how it works, but I think it's a likely way I would try to spin it if I was them right now.
Okay, look, I mean, there's some good quotes from people in here. Henry Wynn, who's the lead guy. You want to give your fans and supporters a real sense of ownership, that they are part of this movement. When you're a brand new club like ours, we really don't have any on-field product to sell. But what we do have is a vision and a goal. In many ways, I liken it to a political campaign. Okay, maybe I'm losing it here. We have to sell our vision and really get people behind it. Okay, look, I mean, it's all platitudes at this point. It's just...
But here's the thing. We laughed and made fun of Sporting Kansas City when they did a lot of the same stuff out the gate, when they rebranded and they talked like this.
No, they sort of did, but at least Sporting rooted their whole identity, which again I called it. I thought it was dumb at the time, and I was wrong. I mean, it's a success, and I've come to accept it. It doesn't mean I think it was the right move, but at the time, at least they were rooting this in. Okay, Sporting is a thing that sort of comes with soccer, and it's not really soccer only, but they had this notion, and for everything that they did, it still felt rooted in some sort of reality, not this. Not, I mean.
If it wasn't LA, you wouldn't have as much problem with it. Just be honest. Be honest. It's the fact it's LA. It's the fact that this is how LA does stuff, and it's how everyone in the world hates the way LA does things.
No, it actually probably would be worse if it wasn't LA. I mean, that's the truth, right? It would feel even more forced if it wasn't LA.
Probably. If this was Atlanta doing this, you might be like, oh, technically, isn't it kind of Atlanta's colors they're using anyway?
It's Atlanta's colors. It's DC United's colors. Are we just going to be red and black forever now? Is that just going on?
But you gotta think of it, though. In LA and even in Atlanta, that's Falcons colors. It makes sense. Yes. This is kind of a spin on Raiders colors, which sells well in LA.
It's going to be they're the red.
It's riot colors.
It is riot colors. And by the way, missed opportunity, because they could have gone and resurrected the LA riot.
We're riot till we die. We're born to fight. We go all night. We're riot till we die.
I mean, how much fun would it be to hear the supporters go? The Black Army, I guess, Black Army 1850 is buying in to the LAFC concept after Chivas died.
Wait, which one was the one we don't want? The Ultra one, or which one was the one that's actually kind of like nasty and like not a very good supporters group?
I don't know if Chivas had one of those. I know San Jose has one of those. That's the.
I hope they never had a song called Chivas Till I Die, because that's kind of awkward now. Then
Chivas died first. You never want to outlive your club.
No, I'm Chivas till Chivas dies, not Chivas till I die.
All right, so I mean, look, maybe they'll figure this out. Maybe this will work. But when you and it's the whole thing. We're marketing to millennials. I mean,
which way is worse, the douchey fedora graphic designer LA team, or if they went with like the LA Surf?
Well, that'd be worse. That would definitely be worse, because that's the
80s, early 90s version of what MLS's team could have been, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of like one of the basketball teams in Double Dribble, like the something.
I think it was one of the teams in Double Dribble, or if I remember correctly.
I can't remember if it was a Surf or not, but it was something like that.
Or was it Blades of Steel? Was it LA Surf?
No. Oh, the LAT. I don't remember. LA Sharks. Was it LA Sharks, or is that? Am I thinking of?
I think of San Jose. I don't know.
It's a Sharks somewhere. It's
okay. Here's the thing. This is how you would expect a Brooklyn FC team to come out the gate and put in. And here's the thing. Brooklyn stole a lot from LA. Let's be honest. They took LA, San Francisco, and Portland and turned it all into something with a bridge. And that's where Brooklyn came from. It's not if LA's fault. They're going to take some of it back. And listen, I sound like I'm defending LAFC. I'm the guy on the other side of the town. I'm a Galaxy guy, but I want to see what they do. I'm excited because I thought Chivas could have been a cool thing for the LA vibe, and it wasn't.
Here's what I think is sort of the nut graph of this story, and it's okay.
Graph of a nut?
Okay, I'm sorry. That's that's sort of jargony. I'm going to be calling out jargon. I'm using jargon. Apologize for that. No one in the office wears a tie to work, and when they speak, the conversation can be heavy and jargon, undecipherable to most people over the age of 40. But it's a language readily understood by LAFC's target audience, millennials, who are more likely to get their information from a mobile device than a traditional source, and to consume their entertainment.
This sounds like a press release written by a guy that's a baby boomer trying to attract millennials.
But this is what. Here we go.
You're right. They're not wearing ties. They're all wearing douchey ascots.
They don't want to be talked at. Orozco. I don't know who Orozco is. He must be up at the top here.
They want to be talked to.
Oh. This guy is I'm just going through this. Hold on one second. Rich Orozco is I guess he's the marketing guy. I guess he's the main guy here. He is
a staff?
Here we go. He calls himself a young 42.
Wait, you can't call yourself a young 42. You can't self-proclaim a young 42. Someone has to proclaim you a young 42.
Who calls themselves a young 42?
An old 42.
And a marketing dude who's like, man, I'm 42, but I'm still cool. We're going to be marketing to millennials, guys. Let's check this.
Who calls himself a young 42? The guy who tries to be best friends with his kid.
That's exactly right.
The guy that lets his kid smoke his first joint with him.
The guy who, when you go over to your buddy's house, he's the dad. He's like, don't call me Mr. Davis. Call me Jason.
No, he's there playing his high school kids come over. He's already there playing GTA, and he just tosses a controller to his buddy's friend. Like, get some of this, man. Come on, homie. You know this game?
Except he doesn't say. Yeah, he's like, so what's going on, dudes? Like,
no, you know who it is? It's Phil Dunphy.
It is Phil Dunphy. That's right. Phil Dunphy's probably a young 42.
Yes.
And come on.
We shouldn't take pot shots at a guy. You shouldn't have said his name. We're taking pot shots at a guy we don't even know. He could be a nice guy.
All right. Well, how about this? Maybe we're mischaracterizing Mr. Rich Orozco. Open invitation. Hey, Rich, come on to Best Soccer Show. And you know what? We don't market ourselves. We're not doing that thing. We're a podcast.
Says the guy with so many pieces of flair behind him. It's ridiculous.
No, that's just a backdrop. We're not out there calling ourselves hip and young and fresh and whatever, right?
But here's the thing, Jason. His job is to get LAFC's name out there. And what are we talking about first thing off the show today for at least first 15 minutes?
Oh, so
you
think it's a win?
It's a win if his ultimate goal is to have the brand talked about, and we just read everything that's in his press release, exactly whatever they wanted said. We just gave it time. So is it not mission accomplished?
It's not a press release, but I imagine that they basically set it up that way.
It's Kevin Baxter's article. But
Kevin Baxter's article. And he probably did like skewering this whole approach if it wasn't for some of the stuff they do on Twitter, which I think is insanely stupid. Insane. I'm not even saying it's like damaging. I'm just saying it's so dumb. You're like, what is going on here? Why are you making this choice? Make a better choice. If you're going to set yourself up as cool and hip and whatever, cutting edge millennial football club of Los Angeles, then don't do hokey marketing gimmicks on Twitter.
I'm just saying, I would say, let's not be careful how far we go on the criticism side, because looking back at Sporting Kansas City, they nailed it.
I thought you were going to say because they could be owned by somebody who's part of an international ring to determine some way to... What is it?
The New World Order?
The New World Order, but it was all about aging, right? Wasn't that the thing?
They're trying to get the heart from inside a figurine and stuff like that.
It was weird. Digging up big plots in like Mexico or Honduras or
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, that's right. And Nicaragua, yeah. Let's check in with 917. You're on the air.
Oh yeah! Wow, that was fast. Okay, hello, guys.
What up?
I'm going to take up a point that's not too popular. I'm here to defend FIFA and its existence.
FIFA?
Its existence or the members of?
We're talking about LAFC. What's going on with FIFA? What happened with FIFA? Something new with FIFA?
Nothing. No, nothing happened with FIFA. It's just that this is a point that has been going through my head as all of this stuff has been going down with all the guys that have been arrested and all this kind of stuff. But and I know that you guys aren't talking about this, and I haven't been able to hear the show, so I do apologize for that. And I'm sorry if I pulled you guys off on a tangent. But it's something that's just been in my head for like months ever since this thing went down. It's like absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Sure.
But if it weren't for FIFA, I can just imagine how many other organizations and leagues there would be in existence that would be trying to pull nations from one side to another. And then we would have what? Maybe we would have 2 world champions, or I mean, how many FIFA World Cups have there been?
So you're turning this
champions there have been. But if that wouldn't have been the case, then we would have had like what happened here with the NFL and the AFL, and then they had to merge and all that kind of stuff,
I'm sorry, I'm just taking an Instagram picture while you were talking.
Sorry, I forgot I was on camera. I totally flipped you off over your shoulders. I totally forgot I was on camera.
I don't think you made
Here's my thing. So he's treating this like it's boxing or world or wrestling. Like, don't have different belt holders. So we should thank FIFA for not having to worry about different belt holders.
At least we have one organization rather than a confusing milieu of many, or well, not milieu, morass of many organizations. You know what? I think title belts would be fun, like WBA, WBC, IBF. Why not? Why not have 4 world champions, Jared? And you know what?
That would annoy me.
I know. I'm just kidding. Look, FIFA.
But you can't say that that's like thinking the Empire for blowing up Alderaan, because at least then there's not a whole bunch of different factions. It's better to have one empire. It's still the Empire. It's still the bad guys.
Yeah, it is still the bad guys.
I'm not defending their actions. I'm just defending their existence. That if they wouldn't have been around, then we would have had that situation. And also, like, what's this fellow saying that was? I believe that he was on your show, Jason. Was the Jennings? And he's saying that the United States should actually take the position of pulling itself out and skipping on a couple of World Cups, and then after that, other nations will follow because the United States is powerful like this in this way. It's like, no, that just doesn't work. If all of a sudden the United States goes in one direction and then a couple of other nations follow, then what's going to wind up happening is that you're going to have a smaller league, and then they're going to have their own little teeny tiny World Cup with maybe only 20 countries participating.
I didn't catch your name. I apologize for that. You know what? Sometimes you have to destroy something bad to get to someplace good. I mean, you have to break things apart. Thanks for the call. You have to destroy.
Is that from The Notebook?
I don't know. I made it up. I'm sure somebody said it somewhere. I'm not being original, but sometimes you have to, you have to tear down.
If you love something, sometimes you gotta set it free.
You have to tear down the evil tower so that the flower can.
Yeah, but I get where the caller's coming from, because if you can isolate 2 things, then I'm on board with him. If you can isolate FIFA from those who represent FIFA, he's right. FIFA as an institution is important, good, and maybe even one of the better things for football. If you take the people who are running it out of it. And I just don't know a lot of people can do that, though. I don't think a lot of people can separate those 2 things. Yeah. It's like saying if the Supreme Court is good, except for if it was all loaded with crappy judges.
Well, sometimes it is. 443, you're on the air.
Hey, guys, don't really know what you're talking about, but I assume it's FIFA and the whole stuff going on with them, right?
Well, we were talking about LAFC, and then we got derailed into a FIFA discussion. Now we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about, because we serve the people, because we are here for the millennials, Jared.
So I remember how, like, the Netherlands, they send out a lot of their guys to other leagues. I'm not going to talk about that with the MLS, but I had a question. Do you think MLS needs to get more on the loans, like have more guys on the loans, send out loans, bring in loans, stuff like that? Because I know, like, Yannis, I went to Borussia Dortmund, and they do that a lot. Do you think that would hurt MLS, or do you think it wouldn't make a difference? I'll hang up and then let you guys talk.
All right, thanks for the call. I think
a few years ago, Don Garber came out and said that this is not going to be a loan league.
Yeah,
and then we proceeded to let guys loan in, like Manchester City guys and all sorts of stuff like that. But
yeah,
but I agree with Garber's sentiment in that I'd rather it. I see where he's coming from in that we don't want to be seen as a league that just is for people's loan players. But at the same time, you can get certain guys that can help this league. If someone would give me Giovinco on a loan, if Juventus had given Toronto FC Giovinco on a loan, you take that loan.
Sure. Well, I mean, okay, like I don't know about that there should be a policy. I mean, it should be up to the club. You want to loan in bring players in on loan, do it. You're going to lose them. You're not going to be able to build around.
It should be, but MLS has to sign off on every one of those.
I know. 305, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Gringo Mark calling from New York.
Hey, Gringo Mark, what's going on, man?
Talk a little bit U.S. men's national team. I don't know if the 35 preliminary roster has come out.
35-man preliminary roster.
Is it out? There's one out?
Yeah. It's supposed to be released. I haven't seen the Mexico either, so
I just heard that there was going to be one. I haven't actually heard that there is a roster. If that exists, I haven't seen it, Mark.
I haven't seen it either.
All I know is I saw people commenting on Twitter about how dumb it was that they were going to make them have a 35-man roster for a single game.
Yeah,
I see from it's from FIFA
the information from the club. But the other comment that I have was pairing of Beasler and Gonzalez that apparently everyone suggesting or by Lukaku on floor Lukaku, but that's with him. And the same thing happened on the All-Star game when they played Tottenham against Harry Kane, where he fell on the floor, and then Marc Gonzalez got caught backpedaling and Kane scored.
Yeah, but I can also point to the game in Azteca where Omar Gonzalez marked Mexico out of the game. I mean, there's good ones too. Just what do you want to believe in? It's up to you.
I'm not going to put a lot of stock in a friendly. Just not.
Right.
Just not. As for Beasler and Lukaku, I mean, okay, that's a mistake. Beasler's not a world-class defender, but I think I trust him more than either.
He doesn't have a world-class defender.
That's what I'm saying. He's better. For me, he's more trustworthy than Alvarado or Brooks.
The closest thing we have is Fabian Johnson as a fullback.
Beasler had an awful game this weekend, says Trevor. The entire Sporting Kansas City team had an awful game this weekend against Orlando. They also flew across the country after a midweek match in Portland for that. And they
tie him to a post and burn him. He had one bad game.
I mean, look, I don't think Matt Beasler is the answer for 2018.
He's the answer right now.
You need to win one game, Mark. I mean,
right.
That to me, this is very much like we always do this hypothetical, right, Jared? If you had to win one game, who would you start, or who would you do? What would you do if you were the head coach? You had to win one game right now, today. This is Klinsmann's hypothetical.
Along with, I got a hypothetical for you in terms of Jurgen Klinsmann. I'm gonna make this into a pick your poison for you too, regarding Klinsmann and the U.S. national team.
Okay. All right. Hold on one second.
I could have given you more time. If it meant getting rid of Jurgen Klinsmann, would you be okay with U.S. losing to Mexico and missing the Confederations Cup?
Nope, not in a million years. No.
Okay. No. I think there's people out there to say yes.
Maybe there are, and I know that I am apparently King Klinsmann hater, but I'm not trading that. I want my team to win. I want my team to go have an opportunity in the Confederations Cup.
But is their long-term version of winning include Jurgen Klinsmann?
I don't think that's
you could be selling short-term gain for long-term gain.
Maybe, but you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So why would you trade a certainty, win the game, go to the Confederations Cup, beat Mexico again for something you don't know if that's going to happen? I mean, if they're going to get better without Klinsmann, you know what I'm saying?
I was thinking the only thing that I can think of at this point that would get rid of Klinsmann is players.
Oh yeah,
getting vocal.
A complete mutiny. That's the only thing that could.
That's the only way it's going to happen because, for all his contract's too big.
Yeah, somebody would have to say, somebody of real import. I mean, we're talking Clint Dempsey, Michael Bradley, Tim Howard, Brad Guzan. Who else? I mean, that's it. That's the list, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Josie's at this point. Josie doesn't have enough good standing to do it.
one of those people would have to stand up and say, you know what? I don't like playing for this team right now. I don't like the direction we're headed. I'm turning down a call. Now, you burn a bridge probably for life. You do that. You're done.
You burn a bridge with that coach. Do you burn?
Carlos Vela did in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, okay. Vela. Yeah. I mean, but Mexico went through so many coaches that they kind of wiped the slate clean for him, and he played so well in Europe. I think that if you're a Dempsey or a Bradley, first of all, Bradley would never do that. So let's throw him out.
I'm not going to say Bradley would never do that. I think Bradley would do it if it was a triumvirate of Bradley, Dempsey, Howard. If those three guys did it together, I don't think any of them should do it alone. But if those three guys did it together, they could pull it off and not have anything bite back on them.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I got one for you. Klinsmann's going to lose his job one way or another.
Sweet.
Your choices are the triumvirate you just identified says we're not playing for him anymore and he gets fired, or we lose to Mexico by a 5-0 scoreline and he gets fired. Which one do you want?
Triumvirate.
Okay. I think that's more damaging.
It's a natural way of it happening, at least, because
it's natural, but it's really
you don't have to give up your short-term gain that you want.
Oh man, but it would only work. Thanks for the call, Mark. I got to let you go. It would only work if you could completely segregate Klinsmann's period as national team head coach, completely put him on an island all by himself and say the rest of the program is safe space and we're all good. Because
I like that we're imagining these three guys as like they're in the bunker of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and like there's really nothing wrong outside. All they have to do is poke their head up and they would see that together they could leave anytime they want.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a psychological construct. There's a it's the social compact, right? Like you go out into the world and you get in your car and you start it up and you drive down the street. And you don't know that the guy coming the other direction isn't going to swerve head on into you. You just have to trust that he's going to drive straight.
I got an idea. I got a way they can let them know it's okay.
Okay.
Why don't we just start a hashtag of it's okay? And we just have soccer listeners in America tweet to these players and say, okay, Michael Bradley, Tim Howard, Clint Dempsey, it's okay if you want to say that you're not happy.
It's funny. I like it. I think it
lets them know.
It's very J. Rodius, but just okay. As long as we're not treading on some social causes that are actually that actually matter in life, as long as we're not actually like going into bad territory with that. What? I'm just saying, like,
just let them know it's okay if they want to speak up, if they want to say. I think the U.S. men's national team fan base need to let these guys know that we got their back if they want to make this move.
All right, we got you. We're for the players, not okay. But I don't think this movement gets as much momentum as you think. I think there are plenty of people still on board with the Klinsmann program. 301, you're on the air.
Hey, Amir from DC.
What's going on, Amir?
I was gonna switch it a little to MLS, but first, what I want to say is, what if Sunil Gulati, before the Mexico game, right? He meets with Klinsmann and says, "No matter what, you're getting fired after this game." What kind of lineup do you think Klinsmann comes out with?
Well, I don't see why you'd ever do that.
No. I mean,
what if?
Okay, but see,
I think the better scenario is you win or you're fired, and then he fires him either way afterwards if he wants.
That's the baller move. That's 100% the baller move. Now, if Klinsmann is coaching for his job, what does he do? What does he do?
He puts the most defensive lineup possible out there. It's probably the same one he's going to put out anyway.
Okay.
There's going to be a bucket.
Yeah, maybe you're right about that.
Get to the chopper!
Here's the crazy thing. If his job was on the line for a one-game only game, Michael Roscoe would still be in that lineup. And like there's dudes that would still be in that lineup because that dude is deluded.
By the way, it seems like it's very questionable whether Fabian Johnson will be back and in game shape for October 10th. So just be ready for that, people. Just be,
Timothy Chandler right back.
Yeah, steel yourself for well, he's hurt. He's definitely not going to be ready.
I think he'll still be in the lineup.
He's going to limp out.
That's how much Klinsmann loves him.
Can he whack people with his crutches? Because that might make him a better defender.
Yeah, that'd be the only way he could be able to stop guys from going around him, I think.
Amir, MLS, what's your thought on MLS?
All right, well, it's kind of an awkward situation for being a DC fan. A little over 4 weeks ago, I was trumping up, supporter shield. Now I'm happy with a draw away to Colorado.
Yeah. Ouch, right? Ouch.
Sums it up, really.
I think that they're going to be, they're going to make the playoffs. I think they need a win on the weekend or a draw and some help. They're going to get in eventually. They might not be the first team to do it, but they're going to get in. I think, man, I didn't watch any of that game, so I can't really comment necessarily on what happened out in Colorado, Amir. But
dude, they drew Colorado.
We have been.
That's all you need to know.
I know.
Burn bomb head.
I know, and we've been consistent. I think. I know your reaction was, "Hey, this is my team. I'm gonna big them up." But Jared and I have been pretty consistent for about 4 or 5 months now. That nothing about DC United got us really excited. Like it wasn't going anywhere. Did we?
Yeah, they just don't float my boat, man.
Until Sabrio came.
Even then, it
looked positive then.
Well, okay.
Oh yeah, it looked better.
He signed. Like it's been like that's when the bad starts started happening and everything just started going downhill.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I hate this.
Yeah, but Amir, even though he's joined your team, do you realize that in the last 5 games, your team has scored 3 goals in the last 5 games? 3 goals.
Dang,
5 games.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and that's not too different than the way it was the most of the season where they were getting 1-0 wins, 0-0 draws. I mean, I know it's changed and it's looked a little bit better since he came around, but the results aren't that much better aside from that 3-game win streak they had about a month ago.
And it's not, look, there's a reason RSL traded him to DC. You know what I mean? Sabarillo is creaking along a little bit. He's only 30 years old, right? Or how old is he? He's a little bit
range.
Oh, he's 33. Okay, well, he's hit Jesus age now.
He said he hit Jared age? Is that what he said right there?
I don't know what he said.
Steven Gerrard.
Oh, man. I was like, first of all, thank you, because I wish I was 33 again.
Gerard's one of those guys that, like, I know my birthday's in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be old, like officially old, almost as old as you.
Yeah.
But Gerard feels like one of those guys who I keep thinking he's older. Like, I have this sense I know he's not. Like, I know he's not older than me, but I kind of feel like he's older than me.
That's like me and Pirlo. That guy's the same age as me. He's a year younger than me. I'm like, holy crap, do I look like that?
Okay.
How is Pirlo a year younger than me?
I know, right? I had this discussion. Thanks for the call, Amir. I'm going to let you go. I had this discussion with I got a couple stories. I was out with my girlfriend this weekend, and we saw Camille Nanjiani on Saturday night, which was really cool.
How was it?
It was awesome. He was hilarious.
Nice.
But we had this discussion about like when you feel like an adult or when you become, and I sort of laid out this whole thing about how I think in the modern world we just never feel like adults anymore. Like you always feel like you're still a kid, right? Even when you're 40. I don't think it like clicks in and now you're drinking scotch and smoking cigars.
My dad, I mean, I think not to get too heavy, my dad, a few months before like he passed away, he would remember telling me, he goes, like on the inside, he goes, I feel like I'm 16 every day. Like I still see as myself as 16 until I look in the mirror.
I think it's all about like knowing that you don't know anything. We're all just walking around trying not to run into crap. Like we're trying just to live like make do, and I think and then you're 45 and you do a double ball heel flick and you're like you are 16 again. Look at you. That's the old school J Rodius.
J Rodius.
We're gonna try to get to some more MLS, and there's certainly some things that are interesting that came out of this weekend. But yeah, the Klinsmann double ball heel flick. Now I want to spend a lot of time on this because it is from the Chile game in January, so we're going way back here now. This I only became acquainted with this. I got Robert on the line. Robert, hold on a second. I only became acquainted with this because Trevor brought it up when he was searching for cool things on Reddit, basically.
Yeah, when Trevor was doing his Monday meme search, like.
So he goes, "Whoa! Why didn't I see this before?" And he sends it to me, and my brain melted like in that second. If you
you told me when I got on here, like, there's no way this is real.
I don't think it's real that he hits both balls.
I'm telling you, and listen, when we got on the show before we started recording, I told you that I watched this happen live. I don't know why this is a big deal today. This was on live TV that night. I don't think it's a camera trick. I think it's an optical illusion. What do you mean it's an optical illusion?
Both balls arrive in the same plane as his foot at the same time. He definitely heel flicks one ball. Okay,
this is just another example of with Klinsmann saying the media doesn't know anything.
Okay, but that is impossible to do. That is not. You're telling me the man.
I watched a guy do a barrel roll like a F-14 and score a goal this weekend for Manchester United. Don't tell me what's not possible.
Okay, but come on, that there's no way those two balls arrived simultaneously.
Go find a feed of that game, a replay of that game. You'll find it. It's in there. I watched it happen live.
But I've got a crystal clear GIF of it. I don't need a replay. What I'm telling you is that I don't think it happened the way it looks like it happened. I think, and I'm Zapruder filming the hell out of this thing. I'm going back
frame by frame.
I'm going up a frame. I'm going.
The neck goes forward, then back.
I think, and somebody pretty quickly on Twitter was like, "No, if you look at the other ball, it definitely hits the ground."
What someone needs to do is take a Gold Cup trophy and the CONCACAF Champions Cup trophy and have them both coming in and Klinsmann kick them both away once he messes this game up in once.
I just think it didn't happen. I just think it didn't. Not the way it looks like it happened. Because it melts your brain. Watch it, especially in a GIF form, watching it over and over and over, Jared, it becomes like this thing that buries.
It's like you forget that Jurgen Klinsmann was a damn good player in his day.
No. I know Jurgen Klinsmann has still got skills. I realize that. I'm not doubting the man's ability.
They don't have anything to do with a whiteboard and a marker, but he's got skills.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability to heel flick a ball out of midair and do what he did with one ball. I just don't think it's possible that both balls arrived.
Jason, you just need to realize that for some of us, 2 balls is something we can deal with.
Robert, go ahead.
Hello, guys. First of all, I'm with Jared, but I wanted to talk about Don Garber's comments he made the other week while he was in England, and last week it was he said a lot of comments, but there was one that I don't think got enough attention. And it was he said that America should follow soccer or the world's game and by its rules. And he said it during the international break. And I was remembering, like you guys were talking about earlier, you guys are old, so you guys probably remember the first 10 years of MLS. Because last week during the international break, I was watching some of the European qualifier games, and at the same time, all that sports bar on them, and I saw college soccer on one TV, and then that's how MLS was, with the clock going backwards and no draws, so you had to end up with shootouts. And
yeah, but that's what he's talking about.
The famous Gavin drill when
Robert has heard legends of a time when these things happened to old people.
He's seen tomes that outline. Yeah, look, Robert, that's what he was talking about. Look, I know that there's irony that he said it right after the international break when MLS had a bunch of players missing, and we can maybe somehow.
But Jason, I chalk this up to when I'm at a party with a lot of my friends who I know are conservatives, and so I end up saying things I don't really mean just so I don't seem out of place. My man was sitting in England, the home of soccer, and he's got all these ideas about how we want to bastardize it, and he's just kind of like, "Oh, I'm not going to upset your house and put my shoes all over your couch, so I'm going to say a couple nice things here."
I do think MLS is pretty committed to following the laws of the game. That's what he meant. He didn't mean international breaks.
It's the equivalent of me saying Trump's got some good ideas when I'm at my friend's house.
I don't think it's like that at all. I think he really did mean that MLS isn't going to mess with the clock. They're not going to make the goal bigger. They're not going to, because they really can't. If they
want to do instant replay, you know that.
Yeah, but only if FIFA says, okay, go ahead. Only if FIFA stands up on their pedestal and says, oh, you can do this.
We're going to go full field turf. You know that's going to happen, right?
Nah, I don't think that's going to happen.
He also wants to do a challenge flag.
Challenge flags. All right, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's what the millennials want.
Maybe it is. Robert, are you a millennial? Is LAFC more?
Are we going to let him just go with that dirty, cold remark he made?
Oh, the old man joke?
Yeah, he just totally threw that in there. We're acting like that didn't happen.
Yeah, maybe we should lay out the rules. It's okay
yeah, I'm sorry. But Jason, weren't you talking about getting the couple gray hairs on your chin?
Yeah. Robert, we're allowed to call ourselves old. I'm allowed to call Jared old. He's allowed to call me.
It's like calling a fat chick fat to her face, dude.
Can't call you as the caller as. Can't do it, man. Come on.
It's like Eminem can't use certain words even though he's in hip hop.
I mean, you're in our house. You got to be polite in our house, don't you? I mean, like I said, we can maybe throw
talking about my man's chin hair. Lucky you didn't talk about your other hair.
Gentlemen,
Now we've addressed this. Robert, first of all, how old are you, Robert?
28.
Okay. All right. So,
Spring chicken.
you're so young. Are you? I guess you're.
First of all, do you consider yourself a millennial?
No.
Okay. But regardless of that fact, what do you make of the way LFC? I can't ask him this. He's biased. He's a Galaxy fan.
Is he a Galaxy guy?
Yeah, he's a Galaxy fan.
Okay, then.
Yeah. I go Galaxy and go.
We gotta get Maxi on here then.
Okay, he's not jumping on the bandwagon. I gotta let you go, Robert. I mean, that's the. Yeah, I should have just
assault us in our house and then like.
All right. Well, so we've addressed this GIF situation. Go look for it. I think it's on the Soccer Morning feed. Trevor will probably put it out on the Best Soccer Show feed as well. I don't think it happened. Go seriously, frame by frame that thing, because Jared, he is in England, hanging out with his boy who used to own Leicester and once owned an indoor team in the United States. They're both Serbian. His boy is Serbian, rich dude, kind of like if a guy who flipped houses did it with soccer clubs instead. He kind of does that. He's bought a couple of different clubs, flipped them over, sold them for more money. He did it with Leicester last.
Well played.
That's why the Leicester link came up, I think, when Preki originally resigned.
So let me get this straight then. He quit his job without another job ready.
Apparently. Now, the story says that his friend, his Serbian dude, is looking to buy another club, that Preki is advising him, and that Preki will step into the coaching role when that club is.
I got a feeling Preki got catfished on this one. He had a wife.
That's what
some chick online sent him a fake pic. Like, you could manage this club. Look how big my stands are. Talking all this stuff. He leaves his wife, travels across the world, gets there, and he got the equivalent of like a dude posing as a chick to him.
I think that maybe they thought something was lined up and then it fell apart. And you know what? I can speak.
I just think I can't believe he left a great team like San Jose that's on the up without something in writing.
I realize that, but I think that he was probably done. I think, look, Preki's got an ego. We all know that, right? Preki believes in Preki. And I think he just said, enough of this small potatoes USL stuff. Maybe he's got some cash stowed away, or maybe his Serbian friend was going to watch after him for a while. And he just said, hey, let's go chase this dream.
Did you guys do the "Where in the World is Predrag Bradisladovic"?
I wish we had somebody that could sing well enough to do that and say Predrag whatever. What was the band called that was on the television show?
Rockapella, my friend. Rockapella. Yeah, what's Rockapella doing these days? I mean, they got to be on retainer somewhere, right? We can get them going.
Yeah. Lynn Thigpen was the woman who basically told on the show, she told you where to go, and she
was the host?
She was the host, basically, but it was more like she was like the boss of the detective agency that was sending you out.
Oh, yeah, Acme and Detective or something like that. Was that what it's called?
She was also in Lean On Me. That's why I always make that connection. She was the crazy mom in Lean On Me, the one who kept making a big deal about getting Joe fired. You remember that?
She was. Oh, you're right. Holy crap! I never made that connection.
Yeah. Yep. Same lady.
The chick that was on the steps with the megaphone, and then Joe takes it away from her at the end. Oh.
Yeah,
that had to feel good, Joe.
And I believe she's passed away. So rest in peace, Lynn Thigpen. All right. So we've addressed where is Preki. He's in England, just trotting around looking for a club, apparently, with I can't remember the guy's name, but he's got a lot of cash. They're going to buy a club. And it's very strange. Like, I've never heard of that dynamic before. Like, we're going to buy a club and you're going to just get the coaching job. Like, he's already been picked, and it's not. I
don't think that's too odd. That's like you got a friend that's like a general contractor, and like, hey, I'm just looking for the right piece of land, but when I do, I'm going to have you build the house.
I guess, but
that contractor can still work, I guess, until they get that contract.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of something along those same lines, like I don't know, a restaurant general manager. I don't have the restaurant yet, but you're totally my general manager when I buy the place.
A question from our boy Bosnian Joe Selton. He says, when will California get an NWSL team? It's all ownership, right? It's all ownership group. I mean, maybe LAFC will be the team that steps up. What do we think about an MLS crossover with NWSL?
I mean, obviously, Orlando might be getting in the business of NWSL. I think that's good for that league. Obviously, the Galaxy could do something and probably do it pretty big. I don't know why they wouldn't necessarily get into that business.
It's also that. Well, I guess it's not as simple as that, Din, because then MLS is in the women's soccer business because these aren't wholly owned.
Happening. That's already they are. I think Orlando City is going to run and operate and own their team,
similar to Portland, I'm sure, but there isn't a LA Galaxy women or a Portland Timbers women's team. It's Portland Thorns.
No, they're their own franchise with their own branding, their own identity. I think that's important. I mean, the Houston.
But from an ownership group standpoint, I think it's better for my brand to have it all under one umbrella with one name.
Yeah, but I don't think that. Well, if I'm in an NWSL, I don't really want that because then you are definitely overshadowed.
How's it any different than how Liverpool has a women's team, Arsenal has a women's team? They're all called Arsenal Women,
because there's a little bit more entrenched soccer sexism working over there. If you know,
sexist? Is it sexist?
Well, there's also the fact that those are 100-year-old
business.
Okay, but those are 100-year-old clubs. They've established identities over the course of generations.
But they also take a bigger risk with those identities by taking the risk on women's soccer as well.
I guess. I don't think they put a lot of money into those endeavors. I don't know. It's weird. I think NWSL needs some of the stuff MLS can offer, but they also want to stand on their own 2 feet, and I respect that. I mean, I think that they want to be their own thing and not necessarily be Orlando City women's soccer, Orlando City Soccer Club women's division. That doesn't give off. I mean, to be equal truly, you kind of have to be your own thing, I think. I don't know.
Okay, another question here. This one from Solon Martinez, and he says, please talk about the Revs.
Yes, I know. We're going to get to some MLS. All right, we've got about 15 minutes left here. Maybe a little bit more than that since we started late. So let's dive directly into the Major League Soccer from the weekend, Jared. Okay, I'm going to do this. We'll defer. Let's talk about your boys because they were rolling.
Hey, no, 0-0. We don't talk about that.
Oh, my God. Oh my God!
Loophole.
Oh my God! That's not.
Damn, dog! That's an approach.
Wow, that's true. We can't talk about the. Oh my goodness gracious!
That makes me so happy.
Moving. We will probably talk about them in the context of the playoff race. So just be prepared.
Okay.
That's all right. I don't know that there's anything majorly surprising from this weekend. You had New York coming back to beat Chicago. Chicago always gives them trouble, but the Red Bulls found a way. Columbus, Kei Kamara scoring 19 and 20. That might be a nice place to start. New England continues to roll. Maybe that's where it is. Because if we're talking about best soccer show stamp of sexy, it probably goes to New England Revolution right now.
I mean, it's back. It's back. The sexiness is back. I mean, Jermaine Jones is back. Lee Win is playing like Lee Win. I think what it really needed, and this is true from years past as well, and needed a different haircut. The New England Revolution needed a different hair theme. They go with a different hair theme. Lee Win gets some color. Diego Fagundes gets some color. I mean, all of a sudden, they're clicking.
Is it a good look?
I'm saying all it needed was a change. Okay, is a rally hat a good look? Probably not.
No,
but,
you're right. Okay, it's a good point.
But can we talk for a second about how many different styles Diego Fagundes is trying to cram into one face? It's like someone took a douchey Mr. Potato Head and made it into Diego Fagundes.
He's a young person, Jared. He's finding himself.
You can't have a chin strap and like a skunk streak.
He's finding himself. Maybe he wants to be the next Guy Fieri. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, man. Listen, it actually kind of works for him. I'm not gonna lie. He actually has got like a little bit of a Dothraki kind of like thing going on there with that chin strap. It's kind of a goatee chin strap. It's weird.
Let me just say, you'd take his life. You would take his life.
Not like murder.
No, you would take his life. You would have.
I would take all the things that come with that life. Yes, I would.
And you would wear the chin strap and the.
I'm not gonna lie that as a 38-year-old man, that dude's probably doubled my number already. Minimum.
That's so wrong.
I've had 18 more years on this earth. I've had old man time on this earth, and that dude's doubled me up. I guarantee it.
How red am I right now? Pretty red right now.
Bro, you're about as red as that riot.
So the New England Revolution looking very good. Again, I don't think that wasn't a dominant performance. They didn't go on to that field and run TFC ragged. TFC actually had their moments. They looked pretty good.
Do we have some kind of air horn or something for Giovinco's double nutmeg with the back heel nutmeg involved as well?
I mean, I can just.
In a game where Toronto loses 3-1, and New England puts on a fantastic team goal, the one to build up for Diego Fagundez's goal. That's still what I remember from this game.
Yeah, I know. That's the GIF. That's the GIF culture we live in. That little moment that gets spread out the internet, and to give some of that flavor to MLS when we get it, because we haven't.
Professor.
But in terms of the game and the balance of the game, again, the Revs didn't control the match, but what they did is they capitalized. I feel bad for Michael Bradley. I mean, that certainly was not.
That was one of the most uncharacteristically Michael Bradley moments I've ever seen.
I don't know if I've ever seen him make. I've seen him make an over-aggressive mistake. I've seen him.
And in that part of the field, Jason.
Yeah, I've seen him make bad passes in his in the attacking end. I've probably even seen him make bad passes in his own end with chance to recover. I don't think I've ever seen him slip like that in the box.
What's interesting is that he usually has such good spatial awareness of where the opponent is. Like, he feels the guys on his hip. Like, they're 2 feet from him, but he feels them on his hip. He knows which direction to turn out of pressure, and he got taken by surprise. And listen, it stands out so staunchly because it's so rare. So I just hope that Michael Bradley is able to just shrug it off and treat it that way. Yeah. Because last thing I need is a Michael Bradley without confidence going into this Mexico game.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're worried about as national team fans. I think for Toronto, it's obviously about making the playoffs. I think they still will, and Javinko is going to be fine. He's still the MVP leader for me. But New England, hottest team in the league, 5 wins in a row.
How did we not talk about this? What's the Darlington Nagbe status right now? Where do you stand on Darlington Nagbe?
I think you give him a look. I mean, I think you bring him into camp. I think you try to get him on the field in a game and see what he can do. I just don't think it happens till January.
Okay. Yeah, I got to pick your poison then for you. Similar to one we've done before.
All right.
Sebastian Lletget, Darlington Nagbe. We can bring one of them to the USA Mexico game. Who do you want to bring?
Oh man.
Do you want change of pace, speed, or a guy who's playing well right now and a specific position?
I think Lletget's a very talented player. I think I'd probably go with Lletget right now. I think
I would too, but that speed's hard, and especially with the way you think Klinsmann wants speed. I mean, look at how he's forcing Yedlin to the team. Look how he's playing Zardes on the midfield side. Not this last game, obviously played him more up top role then, but he values speed. Yeah. So it's like, at what point? I mean, he's got to be salivating at the mouth. But if he brings in Darlington Nagbe right now, what does that do for his? There's other guys ahead of him, standpoint.
Look, Klinsmann can get away with anything at this point because nothing he says means anything. So who cares what he says?
And no one's going to push him on anything. No one has any power but the players. So once again, players, if you're listening, I'm just going to let you know. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay if you just say something. If you say it, what do we tell kids all the time? You say something, see something. You see something, say something.
Stranger danger? Oh, that's different. Sorry.
See something, say something. It's okay.
Yeah, I always have to have a buddy like to cross this. What's that one? How's that? Okay, anyway, whatever. Stop, drop, and roll. Where are we? Okay, I'm lost here. All right. That's a good place to start with. To go with Darlington Nagbe. Now we'll go back to MLS a little bit. All right. So New England, hottest team in the league. New York, a winner over Chicago. That game was ugly. Again, Chicago gives them trouble. Speed gives them trouble. Yeah. So we'll see if that comes to be a problem in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Who's
really got speed in the Eastern Conference though?
Well, I think New England can play that way if they choose to play that way. They just usually don't. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, look, Lee Wing can run a break. Charlie Davies has got wheels. Juan Agadello's on the bench right now, but he can get. Think
about that sentence for a sentence. You just said Charlie Davies has wheels. Do you think you would have said that 2 years ago?
No, probably not. But it's not even necessarily the wheels. I think Charlie Davies is a smart player. I mean,
he smart runs.
Yes, he makes smart runs. So if you run a break properly, it almost doesn't matter if you've got blazing speed. You got to be quick enough.
It's more about spacing. It's more about spacing.
Yeah, it's absolutely more about spacing and timing. And again, having somebody run that break who knows when to play that ball. I watched Portland absolutely blow a chance in a game. When was that? Midweek on Wednesday against Sporting, because Fernando Adi just could not slow himself up on a pass from Diego Valeri. It should have been a goal. It wasn't because Anyway, let's go back to this. Columbus, we'll touch on them. Kei Kamara, 2 goals, 19 and 20. If it's not Javinko for MVP, it's probably Kamara. He's changed that team. He's obviously an incredible goal scorer right now in this league. Yeah. We're gonna get a 20 goal
You got
score.
one vote. Who are you going for?
I'm still going for Jovinko. I think he's more important to his team overall. But Kamara, you really can't.
Kamara's making it a tough one. Robbie Keane's not in that race for you?
I don't think he's in it right now. No, I think it's a 2-horse race at the moment. We'll see what
Is that in a place where he has too many things around him to help him to get those votes?
No, I just don't think he has been good enough consistently enough over the course of the year. I mean, Kamara has been. Can you remember like a 3-game run where Kamara was absolutely disastrous or not good enough?
No, I remember games where I thought that about Columbus, but not necessarily him. And probably when he was away with Sierra Leone, to be honest with you.
I think that obviously Keane's been away a couple of times. I think he hasn't been quite as sharp, and I think that Jovinko and Kamara have separated. So 619, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up? It's Soccer Show. It's me, Enrique.
What's up, Enrique?
I'll just going to go back a little bit on the Nagby story, because I was going to mention that Total Soccer made Top Drawer made an article of Nagby if he was playing in the right position. So I think we'll call both Legit and Nagby, because Nagby is not a winger.
No, well, the article
or a midfielder,
right? Well, I don't.
Is that Parchment's piece?
Yeah, it's Parchment's piece. I haven't read it yet, so I need to go back and look at it, Enrique. So I can't really talk about it with any sort of knowledge. And Parchment's a genius, so I could probably go with what he says. But I think that there's room on a team like the U.S. national team for a guy with the kind of talent Darlington Nagby has. I actually think
for both.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, look, if you're a smart coach, you call both of them. We were just playing our game. But Legit needs to get a look, too. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely call both. And then you're definitely going to take somebody out. Because some of these guys are not performing. And I think Josie's one of those guys. And who else would you think will probably lose a spot right now? I know JK is already losing a spot.
Well, this isn't happening. This isn't happening for Mexico. Thanks for calling, Enrique. That's not happening for Mexico, Jared. He's not going to change his team over.
It depends if he thinks he needs in this game, I'd rather take Alan Gordon than Darlington Nagby. For this game.
Yeah, okay. I'm with that. Yeah, 100%.
And that seems weird to say. I know it sounds weird to say. There's probably people out there that are rolling their eyes, but I'm not saying Alan Gordon's a better soccer player than Darlington Nagby.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable. In a one-off game, again, this is what I was saying. You put the hypothetical out there. You have one game to win. Who do you call? Where do you play them? How do you set up? Having Alan Gordon off the bench?
And I think that's another reason why you bring Lee Win. Why don't you bring Lee Win to this game? You need a game changer with 15 minutes left in the game. You have Alan Gordon, you put Lee Win on that field. You're going to get a different game than what you've played the first 75 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Orlando 3, Sporting Kansas City 1. Sporting looks like dog doo-doo right now, Jared. We mentioned already, Beasler didn't look good, but that whole team looked pretty terrible. They're obviously gassed. And they won a title in 2013. You can't take that away from them. But it's pretty clear that Vermees' program makes people tired. It's a little Klinsmann.
Which makes me interesting how you say I saw in your piece you did with Alexi Lawless for Shocker Morning where you talked about you wanting Peter Vermees for the new national team coach.
Because I think, obviously Sporting Fit is a thing that he runs day in and day out in training with his team. I'm just saying that if you were going to pick a coach to get you through over a hump, maybe he'd be as guilty as Klinsmann of overtraining. I don't know. But at least he has an idea of how, some sort of proactive idea about how to play. I just don't think Klinsmann knows what he wants to do. I think he's like, well, I want to play pretty soccer, but I don't.
I'll go with you this for one reason and one reason only. At least Vermees would call him Benny Feilhaber.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true. 100% true. And you know what?
So that might be worth it just for that.
You know how Klinsmann talks? Vermees would actually bring that. I don't think that they get that from Klinsmann. I think he talks about it a lot. But I don't think that really comes through. I know. I'm sorry, but Peter Vermees just isn't sexy enough for me. No, I'm not. But I'm not talking about 4 years. I'm talking about. If
Do you think you would take the job for 2?
No, probably not. No, probably not.
Well, I guess at this point you kind of have to though. It's one cycle. Well, I guess 2.5 years at this point, or 3 years at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, Jurgen Klinsmann's not going anywhere unless your program works, unless your campaign works, or they start to really struggle in qualifying. Like it's 1 or 2 games off from them being eliminated. Then maybe he's gone. But that's
it. Then Bruce Arena signs a short-term contract.
Is this a whisper campaign? It's okay.
It's okay.
All right. Let's see. Seattle, San Jose 1-1. Obafemi Martin's pulling Seattle out of the fire on the road. San Jose's not taking advantage of these home matches, Jared, and they still got some left. But do you think they're going to get enough to break into the playoff field?
The playoff field right now in the West, I mean, they are 2 games back from Portland with the same amount of games played. I'm going to get, not knowing the strength of schedule down the road, I'm not sure. I'm sure they have home matches, like you said, because they started so much on the road, but they're not making the most of them. I'm going to take Portland in that, but Kansas City, same amount of points as Portland, but with a game in hand. I almost want to pick Portland instead of Kansas City, even though they have one less game in hand on the same points. Is that weird? Because that's how Kansas City's playing right now.
Yeah. That's no. That I don't think that's weird. I mean, I think that we are where we are, right? These teams are who they are, and even though points, even though games were worth the same amount of points and mean as just as much of the standings from April as they do now, it feels like, and clearly, it's about form going into the playoffs, right? It's about form finishing out and pulling. When it really becomes pressurized, being able to step up. Sporting hasn't been able to show that they can do that yet. And Portland, not convincing either, but in a different kind of way, right?
Yeah, I would say so. They just don't seem. They seem to it's like they forgot how to play with Diego Valeri. Is that what you're saying? It's like they don't know what to do. It's like they have. I feel like they have two dichotomous. They have a dichotomous. Is that a word? Lineup where you have these speed players in positions. And then you have this guy in the middle that wants to play as if the game is art.
I used to think
that they don't know how to play together.
I used to think that about FC Dallas, Mauro Diaz in the middle. And they figured it out for a while. Now he's been in and out again because he's Mauro Diaz and he's made of glass. But
as is Valeri over the last season or so.
As he's been too. But they figured it out in Dallas. I don't know. Maybe they'll figure that out. Maybe they will. Maybe it makes them a dangerous.
I don't think they're going to figure it out enough that it's going to put LA, Dallas, or Vancouver out of the running. I mean, I still think the MLS Cup out of the West is going to come from one of those 3 teams.
Okay. The games we have not touched on. RSL 3-1 over Houston. I don't think either one of the teams make the playoffs. I'm sort of looking past it, but apparently Burrito played very, very well in his first, not his debut, but in a first major run out for RSL. So they've got that one. Manuel Martinez. Is that it? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Dallas 2. NYCFC 1. I guess good win for Dallas, who apparently didn't play that well, but I think more interesting to me is everything happening in NYCFC. All 3 DPs subbed out of that match, Jared.
What do you think about the Michel Olympico?
Olympicos are fun, but I don't really think they're... I don't
always know if they're on purpose. That's my thing about them.
Well, Michael Bradley scored one, and there was all that debate about...
Yeah, but then he went for another one like a minute later, so then I was like, okay, maybe he was trying to do it.
Or maybe he was doing it to show that he was trying the first time, even though he wasn't really trying the first time, because he wanted the credit for. Okay, I've already lost that.
But at NYCFC, you have Villa, Lampard, Pirlo, all in this lineup, straight down the middle. I mean, it looks, instead of like a spine, it looks like a spine with scoliosis. It just doesn't. It's not strong enough. I don't know how, but somehow it's not strong enough. And granted, mixed disc crew doesn't play this game. I don't think that makes a difference. I don't know what this team needs. What do they need? What are they missing?
An identity,
passion,
a coherent plan where there aren't 5 different groups of people making decisions for them. A coach who really buys into a program rather than sort of just goes along for the ride. I mean, I don't think I'd ever see the day when Jason Kreis. It didn't feel like Jason Kreis's team. It doesn't feel like Jason Kreis's team to me.
It doesn't, and it's got but he's gotten the players that he wanted. He's got Grabavoy, he's got Wingert, he's got Sebastian Velasquez, who's seen minutes through the season. He's got guys that have played with him before, and in Wingert and Grabavoy, leaders, guys that should be leaders in this team, and they still aren't playing Jason Kreis style of ball. And it's not because he didn't get a number 10; he got a 10. I just don't know what's different, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what to say about it. It's amazing when you put it's kind of like the Traveling Wilburys. There's a whole lot of talent, and I didn't really like the music.
Right. It's a super group that doesn't work. Absolutely. So, by the way, we've been asked to pick the Red Bulls New England game. That's in New England on Wednesday. You got to pick?
I'm going to take. I'm not going to pick against the Revs right now. I think they're playing way too well.
and not at home. I think they probably win.
And I think the New York Red Bulls are a good team in this league, but when New England's on, they're a great team in this league.
Yeah, I think New York knows how to win games, but I think that's a good point. In this particular case, I'm picking the Revs as well.
I think New York's a more disciplined team. I'll say that
2-1. Yeah, more certainly 2-1 is what I'll go with the Revs there. There's a bunch of games in the midweek. We'll be talking about those next week. By the way, we got a shout out from Tony Bravo from Gabriel Luna.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
He hit us up on. He still follows the Best Soccer Show, so he.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he?
I don't know why he wouldn't. Our man.
It's like your shirt was like a beacon, like a bat symbol, like just reaching out to Tony Bravo.
There you go. All right, that's going to do it for the Best Soccer Show this week. Thank you very much for listening. Go to backheel.com for a bunch of cool stuff. What else, Jared?
We'll have a bonus show coming up next for you guys on Thursday. If you're liking the bonus shows, keep reaching out to us. Let us know. Last week we had a pretty fun one.
Yeah. Oh, I have no idea what we're going to do tonight, but that's half the fun for us. So we'll figure it out, and we'll see you next week. Later.
Danger zone! Damn, dog, that's an approach! It's
it's incredible! He couldn't even have dreamt that.
Someone seems to think you have talent. But unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars.
Till we die! We're right till we die! We're born to fight, we go all night, we're right till we die!
Jay Rodius.